Pasha Pavo, YNet 7. Thank you for tuning. The replay. Gaslighting. Are you familiar? Does it exist? Do you know what it is? Has it been done to you lately? Today. Let's take a look at it. So the definition of gaslight, because we'll tell you how we got here. So it's a pretty amazing world when you're conscious, when you're in tune. Makes for great movies. So I was in the process of taking YNet 7 to the radio. And a series of events occurred that made me realize exactly how closely the conscious community is being watched. And while these events played out, I was curious to learn why without detection. So you heard the phrase, like, sometimes you just gotta let them feel like it's their idea, right? So in this series of events, I was exposed to a lot of information. And the way Pasha mind worked, it started to compute the wovenness of manipulation. Resulting in the current climate of our environments, of our communities, of your neighbors, of your workplace, of your schools. So I had to let the events play out to their extent, so to speak, to learn more. So let's take a look at the word gaslight. It means to manipulate someone by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. Now, this is why I always say it's important, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, gods and goddesses. It's important to see things as an equation and not get caught up on the variables. And then over there on the bottom right, I took another definition of it that was slightly different and presented it. So they're two separate sources, but I put them together like that. So one group of people gonna understand this, and maybe the rest of them can understand the other one, and vice versa, however it go. All right, we're gonna spend some time with gaslight, and we ain't talking about the stove. So a subtle form of emotional manipulation that often results in the recipient doubting their perception of reality and their sanity. and here's what I was thinking. Here's what I was wondering. I said, because Steve, when my mind started working, like I said, I'm working in infinities with all the variables considered. Not necessarily known, but considered. That's the key word, right? And I was like, wow, I wonder just how many people are even aware just how often they're being gaslit. And then when you have someone really persistent in front of you trying to gaslight you, do you understand that you're being gaslit, or do you succumb? And I was wondering, like, wow, look at that in society. Like, how many different ways, how many times does you, fellas, you got when they say they went to school, actually it works both ways. I mean, I studied psychology, but you know, anything can be weaponized, and that's what it is. So I didn't go to school for psychology, but do, just wanting to be the best at certain things, you probably might have picked up on the majority of psychology classes or courses, right? Depending on what you're trying to do. So if you haven't had a complete study, you're probably, depending on who you are, had a good study. And then if you're doing marketing and branding, you're there, right? So I'm not saying there's not benefits, but everything can be weaponized. And that made me say, I wonder how often do people realize they're being gaslit just on a normal daily basis. So when you when you're in a relationship with the person that claims they study psychology, you better take that serious. I mean, that should be like the red flag for you to make. If you are not a pay attention person, if you are not a detail oriented person, if you are not a person that's empathic, if you're not a person that can feel the energy of a person before they even try something, if you're not those group of people, I'm just gonna say, I'm just leave it at that. So that's a disadvantage. All right, so it was funny though, because when you know these things, I could see a gaslighter becoming frustrated. Right? Is this why your boss at work don't like you? Is this why you always arguing in your relationships? Could it be? Right? Because they're trying to say something's wrong with you, right? So let's take a look at it. It reminded me of a song that I wrote. Not man-made. But it ties into the point of the whole vaccine. And I'm going to tell you that the vaccine's included in this conversation. We're kind of early on, so it may get a little lengthy because there's some details, but I want you to know what we're building up to. And it's not a guarantee. It's for entertainment purposes only. So a lot of people are concerned about this thing called a chip. A lot of people are excited about this thing called a chip because they're going to be able to take the cell phone and put it in your head. So instead of having to ask Siri, you can just think Siri, right? And I was like, yo, what is the difference between that and gaslighting? It's like gaslighting is the analog way. You see, this group got to condition the minds of this group of people, and then this group of people got to condition the minds of this group of people, and then this group of people over here got to condition the minds of this group of people, and this person got to condition the mind out from that group to condition the mind of this person, and then this person come to try to gaslight you. That's the analog. See, the digital version of that is going to be when they just put the chip in your head and you ain't going to be able to know, or in your hand, or on your arm. I don't know, right? Where they going? You know what I mean? They screw it in, we all looking like Frankenstein. Might be a big bolt out the side that they may need, you know what I mean? You might got like the military version, the rugged one. The Outlander edition. You know what I'm saying? Want to make sure we can connect with your ass. You know what I mean? So that's the thing, right? So gaslighting today becomes, let's just put a chip in you, and then if you can think Siri and get the answer as a thought, then how do you know any of your thoughts are actually yours or not? You see, because that's why it takes a while for like my music to make sense to people. Some people. But that's why you're here, because you guys get it. You know what I mean? So the song itself had this in the undertow. The threat of being controlled by outside source. That's why it's like not man-made. And we're not just talking about like, you know, invading army. We're talking about like in your head with technology, what you call technology today, right? With implants, with frequencies. I ain't saying 5G. So when you look at gaslighting and you watch this video, I'm going to play the video for you. And when you look at the term gaslighting, I want you to look at it from the sense of the computer, the leader of the, you know, the tap into your brain, however they want to try to do it, whether it's technology or technology in the sense of electronics, digital stuff, or technology in the actual use of grammar, like it really mean, like its true meaning. See, gaslighting is a technology. So let's take a look at the video, right? It's a pretty cool song. Pretty cool little video coming from the director himself, the editor himself. Pretty cool song coming from the writer himself. You know, I'm my own worst critic. I'm a Virgo. So, if you look at the details in the video, you saw the computer, you saw the wires, you saw it being hooked into the robot, you saw what looked to be human, also mimicking the robot and or responding to the inputs from the laptop or the controller. See, that's why people don't like you, because you're not man-made. So because you're not necessarily like them, they either feel something is different and they consider it being wrong with you, or they're part of the gaslighting crew sent to try and manipulate you. So over there on the right, you'll see some things that say, what is gaslighting? What does it sound like? Oh, you're overreacting. I need help, or you need help, right? I didn't do that. You're upset over nothing. You must be confused. See, and when you hear these statements, because this is good mental health here. Just like I said, when you see my pages, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you'll see that it's experiential therapy that I deal with, right? These experiences, like, you want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the music I make, for example, let's get intimate for a moment. The music I make is therapy. That's why I know, it's not going to be, that's why it takes you to make this move. You know what I mean? Because it's not something they actually want promoted in the world. Like everything's based on something being wrong with you, if you realize it or not. Your lack of something. Every product almost. Whether it's electricity to food to everything else. So it's a lot of money being made off disorder or disorders. So who wants to promote true healing? And I was exposed to this, right? Years ago, actually, probably almost a couple decades ago, but yeah, the Not Man Made video, we're coming up on 18,000 views. I appreciate all you that shared, that's like the YouTube channel, the Pasha Pyro YouTube channel, getting the message across, you know what I'm saying? So when you look at these sentences, these phrases over on the right, I need you to understand that that's not the only way it's presented. See? Like, you're overreacting. How many different ways can you say you're overreacting? It could be as simple as saying you're overreacting, or it could be as sublime as saying, I don't ever do it like that. You know what I mean? When you look at the infinity of it, you need help, right? What's another way you could say that? Somebody's having a debate with you, argument, and they say, hey, can't nobody teach you nothing. like implying that they were teaching you something, right? Which maybe they were, but maybe they just not realizing it's something you already know, right? So instead of them taking the time to say, hey, have you heard of, do you know about, what do you think about this? You know, they want to tell you there's something wrong with you, as in you need more education, right? I didn't do that. Now, let's say you know exactly how something went down because it was you and them, right there. Whatever, right? So then they go, I didn't do that. That's not what I did. But now it's just you and them talking now later on. You know, it's not like a thing or nothing. So, and you're like, no, you absolutely, you know, at 6 o'clock and or whatever the case might be, right? That could be how simply it's done. Or you could have something where instead of even giving you an option, they just tell you the story totally differently, right? So by telling you the story in a total different way, and you remember what it was that wasn't that way, it's the same thing as them saying, I didn't do that. See, but you don't you gotta process it like that to understand and to recognize the gaslighting effect. Because if you don't, you'll miss it. And it could be innocent. It could be just that person trying to win the debate. Or it could be that they're trained and skilled. Now, if it's just that person trying to win the debate, got onto a good point here and there, then, you know, you win some conversations, you lose. Maybe you lose some if you don't know what you're doing. Or if you're talking about shit you don't know. Which is a waste of energy anyway. Why would you? Anyway, so, or you could be dealing with a professional. Because you could be a target. Because you could be seen as a threat. A threat to the workplace because you have knowledge that offends them. Or a threat to society. Or all of the above. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. In this entertainment on YNet 7. So make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell. Think about everybody around you who's gaslighting you. So you must be confused, right? Just calm down. You're so dramatic. You know, think about all the different ways this could be said to you in the infinite amount of ways. Think about all the ways you've heard some of these said differently today, this week, this month, 2020, pandemic, mask, vegan, right? So, why are you so defensive? What do you talk about? It's your fault. You're so sensitive. You twist things, not I mean you do, right? I never said that. That's I didn't do that. Stop imagining things. That's the whole you're confused again. We all know about the I was joking one. That shouldn't even be on the list because that's so old, so redundant. You know, of course, you're remembering things wrong, which is when they just give you the story or they tell you, you know, it's always something with you, right? And you know, it made me think though, right? I was like, wow, this is amazing how often this is really used when you think about it. Branding, marketing, you know, all kinds of stuff, right? And you know, you could go as far as something like like 2020. I mean, you could go that far with it, right? Like all of these boom, 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 you're being bombarded, and then that, you know, that turns everybody. Well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't go outside in the world because there ain't never been no germs where we from. We ain't never had no germs before. Now we got germs outside. Maybe we should stay inside because, Maybe we shouldn't go to work. You know what I mean? We ain't never had germs at work before. Like, you know, maybe we need to shut this down. Maybe we don't need any cash. Yeah, coins, cash, let's get rid of that. It's germs out here all of a sudden. Where did these germs come from? You know, people, 500,000 people died. Right? Something's wrong with you if you don't do something different because an extra 0.001% of the population died. Stay inside. Don't eat. Don't touch. It's dangerous. Tell on everybody you know that is touching. I mean, you think I'm joking. But see, because of the psychological alterations of people's minds, this is what it is. This is why your communities got to the point where they said it's illegal. They'll arrest you. Some of you communities. They'll fine the store for allowing you in. Now, do you blame the establishments for just trying to keep their doors open to feed their families, their multiple families? Do you go into the store and harass the owner that's got 4 kids and 10 staff that's got families each about why they ask you to put a mask on so they can support the 145 people that their small business feeds and puts food and lights on their table and their rooms every day? Do you harass them? Do you blame them? Some places get a little bit more exposure than others. Restaurants might be a little bit more scrutinized than the store around the corner on the end of the block that only a certain group of people go to. Psychological means into questioning their own sanity. A subtle form of emotional manipulation that often results in the recipient doubting their own perception. So let's take a look here. I'm going to utilize this video. We're going to get some examples, 10 examples. I'm gonna get to how this connect to the vaccine shortly. Stay with me. Pasha Paro, YNS7.
So, here are 10 examples of what gaslighting can sound like.
Oh.
As a disclaimer,
okay, guys.
we want to note that not everyone who says these phrases...
Start over.
Hey Psych2Goers, welcome back to the channel. We wanted to take a moment and be sure you knew how grateful we were for all your support. Your ongoing support is what helps us make psychology and mental health more accessible to everyone. Now let's continue. Gaslighting is a word that's used a lot in the media these days, but what does gaslighting actually mean? The term originates from the Patrick Hamilton's original 1939 stage play Gaslight, where a husband psychologically manipulates his wife. In the story, the husband attempts to convince his wife that she is insane by manipulating small elements of their environment and insisting that she is mistaken, remembering things incorrectly when she points out the changes he makes. The play's title alludes to how the abusive husband slowly dims the gaslights in their home while pretending nothing has changed, in an effort to make his wife doubt her own perceptions. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse where someone leads you to question your own reality, memory, or perceptions. So, here are 10 examples of what gaslighting can sound like. As a disclaimer, we want to note that not everyone who says these phrases is automatically a gaslighter. Gaslighting is intentional, and a gaslighter knows exactly what they're saying and what they're doing. 1. What did I do to you? If someone responds to you this way, they may genuinely not know what they have done and are asking you about it.
It's like to go.
But when it's gaslighting, they are aware they have done something to hurt you and are pretending to play dumb. In defensively posing this question to you, they are denying the impact they had on you and are also forcing you to question it. 2.
The new 2021 version of this is hurt people hurt people. Oh, hurt people, and I've been hurt, and this is why I'm, trying all this shit and doing all this shit to you, and, just, give me some time, and, then I'll feel better, and then, some time will go by, and then, I'll do it again to you again, and I'll say hurt people.
Everyone around you isn't the problem. The problem is you. This is sometimes used as a way to shut down the conversation.
See, this is why you need to wear a mask, because if you don't, then your grandmother's gonna die because this, that, and the other, and
or dialogue for whatever is happening. This type of language is often referred to as victim blaming.
You're selfish. You don't think of others. You don't this. You don't that.
Where the gaslighter will make statements that cause you to feel like you are the problem, even when you have fallen victim to something such as bullying or abuse, and the situation is outside of your direct control. 3. I'm sorry you feel that way. When someone's hurt you and they say something like this, then it is not a true apology. Instead, it's a way to make you feel like you are the problem. They say that they're sorry that you feel the way you do, rather than apologizing for what they've done or how they made you feel. 4. I don't remember saying that. I think you made that up. This is the go-to phrase that a gaslighter will use to intentionally get you to question your experience, behavior, and thoughts in order to take the focus off of them. 5. It's your anxiety that made me do the things I do. This is a common response when a gaslighter gets called out for their behavior. They use this as a reason to justify their own negative behavior when in fact, they should take responsibility for their own actions.
It's like when you get called in the office about an email. And they're like, you sent this email and it made them feel some type of way. And then next week they go and send you an email the same way. or it'd be totally different, right? But it'd be the same thing on the equation base that they just complained about. You know what I mean? So you're because of your words on the screen using technology, because it originally refers to grammar, I feel like you should turn your technology down, because it made me feel like I needed to turn mine up. And it's 2021, it's the world of pacification. I shouldn't have to turn my technology up.
Instead of choosing to blame you. 6. You need help. This term is used to imply that you are the problem and that you need to address your issues rather than them having to work through their own issues. This is a shutdown response to avoid working things through with you. 7. It's your fault. People who gaslight will neglect any responsibility for their actions or for a situation. Instead, they will directly blame others. This can be a repetitive cycle where you may be made to feel like something is your fault, even if it isn't. You may even apologize for things that aren't your fault to make peace with them. 8. You're too emotional. This implies that your characteristics are seen as flaws, and this can make you question your own sense of who you are. 9. It's not a big deal. People who gaslight have a tendency to minimize the impact that something has on you. They may make you feel like you are making a bigger deal out of something when you are within your right to talk about things that are bothering you and express yourself openly. 10. Why are you so defensive all the time?
You all know the one that they want to be the only one that's heard, right? Could be a gaslighter.
You're attacking me. This is a common phrase used when you challenge a gaslighter. They have a tendency to flip the conversation towards you and make it out. Flip the conversation used when you challenge a gaslighter. They have a tendency to flip the conversation. You're attacking me. Express yourself openly. 10. Why are you so defensive all the time? You're attacking me. This is a common phrase used when you challenge a gaslighter. They have a tendency to flip the conversation towards you and make it out like you are the one who is in the wrong.
And you know what? This one right here, when I was previewing this detail for you guys, trying to find one that was quick enough, so, I think this is really important. I remember going to, and I should have pulled a video, but it's on my phone. So I remember going to see Dr. Umar when at Cuzzo's, and he was talking about how it was a part of that conversation where he was talking about how the women are responsible. I ain't gonna say, don't quote me on a verbatim. I'll do a video on that, so the exact quote is right there. But basically, he was saying the women are partly or are responsible, which we can safely just say partly, right? Responsible for the way the men are today, which then they go and complain about how the men are today, only complicating the problem. You see what I'm saying? So this one right here, I think, is really when you listen to some of that conversation used with that, that's what this one is. Like, oh, you men are always doing us women like this, da 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 da, and all you men aren't this and shit, and blah 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 blah, and we women. And I'm not saying that there's not times when that's the case, but that's this classic. A lot more times than not, it's this right here. You know what I mean?
10. Why are you so defensive all the time? You're attacking me. This is a common phrase used when you challenge a gaslighter. They have a tendency.
Because everything you say is you're being defensive, and then everything you promote, you're attacking them. So, and I always wondered why, like, when I talk to married people, and they always are like, yeah, happy wife, happy life, and I'll be like, I can't go outside today. You know what I mean? Like, I used to always wonder. But when you think about these elements, like, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. And all the little stereotypical jokes and stuff that, men have in relationships and stuff, or like about men being in relationships and how they on lockdown or whatever, and all this stuff. And I know that's not the case for a good chunk of you, especially if you're on, YN7, because you guys are on a different level with shit. So, but this is kind of like, you could see this being the undertow of some of it. So let's continue.
Tendency to flip the conversation towards you and make it out like you are the one who is in the
in some way, shape, or form. And maybe they didn't study it under gaslighting. Maybe they just got a few tactics here they use, but the professionals, they're gaslighters.
Wrong. By accusing you of being defensive and that you're attacking them, then they become the victim. Do any of these phrases sound familiar to you? These are only some of the things a gaslighter will say to you. You may have heard these before or even said them yourself, but this does not necessarily mean you have been gaslighted or that you are a gaslighter. Gaslighting is intentional.
All right. So I know that meant that the song didn't it played, but you didn't hear it. It's kind of cool. I'll run a little bit back of it for you. That it's always the perfect day, so that's actually kind of beneficial because it really gave you an opportunity to focus on the visuals, which was really telling the story in the background. So I'm kind of glad that happened, and now you can hear some of the words. The I know the real you, like that goes. See, it's amazing. I know. Thank you very much. I don't. I get excited about my wordplay because I like that 5 different people can listen to the song, or you could listen to it 5 different times and really hear 5 different stories, or infinite, depending on how much you chop them up in your mind or whatever, and connect them in different pieces. So, but look at the. I know the real you, the real you. That's both sides of gaslighting right there. You know what I'm saying? It's them trying to tell you they know you better than you know yourself, which may be true in some cases. In some conversations, they may know you better than you know yourself, and you may spend a whole bunch of time telling them, no, I don't want to do this, and then at the end you be like, you know what, I'm so glad you showed me this, and that's a pain in the ass. But because you always waste more time in the beginning than you need to, because at what point do they realize they should just trust you and go along with it, right? But anyway, they could be thinking you gaslight them. So the thing is, that's that side, right? And then the flip side of it is when someone's trying to gaslight you, you could be like, man, I know the real you. Like, I know this tactic. I know your strategy. Matter of fact, I know you don't even feel that way because yesterday you were just saying the complete opposite, and now you're saying the complete different thing. So, like, I already know that this ain't you, or that ain't you. So that already makes it a trust issue to begin with. So now we can't proceed. You know what I'm saying? But, so look at the words. I'll play some of it for you, and then we'll move on, because this topic is transitioning into the entertainment factor, into an entertainment value of the upcoming chip. Stay tuned. Pasha Paro, YNet 7. I know the real you, the real you. You know the real you, I know the real you. So confidential, that ain't the real you. I know the real you. Why you being so artificial? I know the real you, the real you. You know the real you, I know the real you. So confidential, that ain't the real you. I know the real you. Why you being so artificial? Moonwalk in the airplane, all plain clothes, no titles. Every time I broke quarantine, everything I touched went viral. Couple parts, some are similar. Less roof, open throttle. This guy don't wanna simulate. I just cloned twin models, and I'm not man-made. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Man-made, 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 man-made. Not. See? So not man-made, right? Like, when you can see this stuff being done to you, you're not man-made. When you don't allow it to manifest. Now, when you get so used to this being attempted, and again, remember, they may not have studied it. They may not have went to school for gaslight. They may not be trained professionals. They may not be part of some organization coming to sent to take you down. You know what I'm saying? It could be just that they're trying to win the argument, and because you're so used to defending the truth, the real truth, instead of what they want you to believe is the truth. Like you've kind of seen a lot of tactics in your conversation. So congratulations to you. Now, what that means is, you're not easily gaslighted because you can see it. You can see the plays, and you're just like this, But here's the thing: when you've seen it enough, you can play the game with them, because now you can find out where it's going, where it came from, all by Art of War playing the fool to, you know, catch a fool. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of interesting at that level. Now, the thing is, like, that's probably why I'm up here. I was like, oh, you had the sound on. I haven't been on Y97 for, I guess, about a month now. You know, hermit mode, Virgo. I went on the road. Like every now and then for my content, whether it's stuff like this or just my content for my personal self of knowing, you know, the current status of the world and stuff. You know, I go check out a lot of different places all at the same time. You know what I mean? So I can get a massive download, a massive status update of, you know, the current state, right? So, and I like to donate, you know, to the community. So, whether they realize it or not, the best way I found, me personally, you know, I don't know about y'all. I'm not knocking any other way of your, you know, community affairs or community givebacks. I found the best way to donate is when people don't know you're donating to them. And then, you know, you use a little sprinkle your magic 48 laws of power, and, you know, and your gaslighting skills or whatever, and you you know, put them in position to make it feel like it was their idea to receive something that they feel like they either somehow wind up got or they thought they were getting from you or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you can teach a person a whole training course and they'll think that they gaslit you out of the information. That's the beauty of it. Then you can take them and put them in a position and they'll swear you never had nothing to do with it. And that's great because it allows you to remain the ghost. I like being behind the scenes. See? So I go and I invest in the community. You know, some projects take a little bit longer than others. Needs a little bit more work. You know, some require less time, less energy, so you can do more. So I ain't been on Y97 in a little while, and I forgot to turn the sound on. But it's the perfect day because you got to see the visuals, and then you got to hear a little bit of the words. You can go check it out on your own. Now, see what it is here is what I discovered. Like, was when you go out here and you still talk about these problems that the community is complaining about, I realized that a lot of times what's difficult is you can't help because the real solution nobody wants to hear, right? And I was wondering why that is, and it goes back to these things. It goes back to the whole proud versus noble that we talked about, right? Proud versus humble, excuse me, because proud means noble, excellent, and splendid. So the community has been conditioned to ostracize and outcast their true noble in lieu of what appears to be great, what appears to be excellent, because the manipulation has been put in play to keep it and it's not like I had a post. Matter of fact, where's the post at? Hold on, give me a second. All right, so all right, hold on a second. I got you. And see, I had put this post on my Facebook channel, my Facebook page, right? And what it made me think about was, you know, because when you're in commerce in a certain way, you gotta you exercise certain things, and I was thinking about this situation here. I was reminded about the years where, you know, I had to go Perry Mason myself, and You lose all your friends and family because they think you're crazy. And I ain't gonna say it. That it was there was a bunch of reasons why they thought I was crazy. They couldn't gaslight me. Nah, I'm just not. So, but yeah, you go through a lot of disloyalty, right? Support for the enemy, right? At the time of the whole thing. But you go in, you Perry Mason, and you win, based on stuff that they gonna call you weird for, tell you're crazy for knowing, and you must not know all that stuff. It's your, all this gaslighting stuff. It's your fault. It's this, that. You need help. You're upset over nothing. You're overreacting. They didn't do that. You must be confused. You can't do that. Just calm down. You're so dramatic. All this stuff, right? But you prevail. So, but here's the thing it made me think about, because in the comment, this is what I wrote in the comment. I wish more people knew the freedoms of being American. Every time someone says they'd rather be a U.S. citizen, I have flashbacks of my daughter's mom saying that our daughter gonna be a U.S. citizen just like her mother, right? The arrogance, and arrogance simultaneously. You know what I mean? So she worked hard to make our erode our relationship. Me and my daughters. Family members turn their backs on you too when you say you're American, and explain to them why, and they want to be U.S. citizens, all this stuff. So, now when people tell me they want to be a U.S. citizen, I just naturally feel like our relationship's coming to an end, right? So that led into, I canceled the contract. I canceled the radio show for I'm just real particular with functionality. So when they don't want you, this information here ain't for radio. Let's just put it like that. So this one right here, right, is really what's going on. It's really a powerful tool, even though it's a simple diagram. So you got inputs and outputs and everything in life, system management, and you put in information, and you put in finance, and then management is supposed to do something with that. You got workforce, spare parts, tools, information, and you have outputs. It could be product, it could be plant, it could be safety, it could be conditions of your community, your environment, your atmosphere, and you get information as an output too. So this here was pretty powerful, and it relates to that. And all this is transitioning into the chip, which we're almost there. Stay with us. YNet 7, YouTube radio. So knowledge and experience changes everything. What you get out is based on what you put in. It's not that our communities aren't being offered solutions. Often, it's that true solutions would change the controlling power structure, making them obsolete technology. Controllers have to create distance between those with true power of freedom to remain in control by providing the illusion of freedom. That's what I should have added there, right? So poor leadership manipulates the people to grow the money. Great leadership manipulates the money to grow the people. You know that quote, I've mentioned it often from Simon Sinek. For the rest of us, we must accept that the above state of mind is needed, although it may trap many, right? It serves as a transition for the few that actually are executing and can make it through. The underlying sickness is finance, as that is the only information that most people want. So when you go in and drop information like this on the community, they not always they don't know the value of that. But when you see massive worldwide global protests due to police shootings that started with a traffic stop, they don't realize that this is the solution. They don't see the boom, 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 boom back to the actual origin of the problem. Is that why are you letting them? What? Oh, you were gaslit into believing that you should even been pulled over. So if everybody knew certain knowledge, certain information, then like 85% of police shootings would never get the chance to occur because they wouldn't be stopping people on a regular basis. Whole nother discussion, but this is for your entertainment purposes. You see what I'm saying? So when you come to the community with stuff like this, a lot of times the community leaders are like, no, we don't want we can't let the people know that because then we'll lose. This is what you look like to them. See, if they free your mind, then you be off the chain. You be off the leash. That's why, it's kind of best that YNet 7 don't go on the radio. That's why Elements, put in a lot of work to delay stuff and, you see what I'm saying? Because they can't have you under their umbrella being knowledgeable, being conscious. Because then you're no longer money to them. So with all that being said, right, it's no wonder that the vaccine is under the discussion that it's under. Because if this is the last stronghold you have is knowledge of knowing, right, your rights, then what's the way to get over that? See, here's the way to get over that, right? Forget you're falling in line to wear a mask, or, next there'll be police checkpoints possibly wanting to see your health pass cell phone app to enter Walmart or travel down the road. Here's the interesting part. What if, right? What if, because this new latest medical trends is altering your DNA, possibly, potentially, or you go all the way to put a chip in you, right? Hold on, where's it at? See? They put the chip in you. Now you a robot. Now you a clone. Now you a cyborg. Now you think your own thoughts are AI, right? But once they get to that point, then you could say, well, you're no longer human. You're no longer original. You've been modified. You've been struck by a smooth criminal. Dun-dun-dun-dun, right? Nah, seriously though. You've been modified. You've been upgraded. You are no longer natural. You are now a product of your government. So where you used to be just not knowing you were giving your rights away, now you really don't have them because now you're technically a product. And it starts with and what makes that possible is a couple people gaslighting the many and turning them into gaslighters of you. Peer pressure's a motherfucker, right? If you ain't strong enough to stand up to it. You gotta know yourself, people. It's a lot on the table here. And while y'all distracted, not y'all, but while many are distracted by everything but what's important, Some of them won't even know what happened to them. This is why they allow this stuff to run rampant, because it's a mechanism. If you want to take control of any population, you take control of their women. So once you condition the minds of the women, they're going to naturally condition the minds of the men, and you'll never have to fight a battle. So when you see all of this stuff that you guys might think is cool, or think you know women and this is how we need to be and this is what we need to do, and you playing right into the system. You're a pawn. That's why Pasha. I just want you to get used to it, the truth. Because I'm going to send them running back honest like no parking signs. All right, Pasha Pyro, YNet7. Thank you for tuning.
I just sick pay on a 6'3" formatted Parkinson. Text message back, order join my mailing list. Fever in the brain, Percocets. Patients in the lobby on my waiting list. Quarantine, pharmacist. Foreign jeans, stuff I know, numerologist. Big screen, big heart cardiologist. Next session back office, gave a Parkinson. Champagne meal, tickets and croutons. Have them running back, honest like no parking signs. I just took hard work on a date 100 times. Gave up every weekend with next week in mind. Now I'm counting back pay. Gon' tell them all up, spend that back pay. Don't they owe it all till you're calling back dates? Time to slip and fall on your band-aid. Flowing every cut on my band-aid. And I promised mama lied when she said you ain't worth a damn thing. Middle of the night, left home without a damn thing. You gon' be next, feeling like the world owe you everything. So you should get used to it. Taught them everything but a student loan. 8 bedrooms for my studio. I just bought a car on my mobile phone. Gave your first one for the ratio, so you could get used to it. So you could get used to it. I ain't mean for you to fall in love. First call when you lost your job. Feeling bankrupt, now you Donald Trump. I just wanted you to get used to it. So you could get used to it. You feel like money now. You feel like money now. Don't you wanna count it up? Count it up. Back pay. You feel like money now. So you could get used to it. Back pay. You feel like money now. You feel like money now. Don't you wanna count it up? Count it up. Back pay. Gon' tell them all up, spend that back pay. Don't they owe it all till you call it back date? Time to slip and fall on your band-aid. Flowing every cut on my band-aid. And I promised mama lied when she said you ain't worth a damn thing. Middle of the night, left home without a damn thing. You gon' be next, feeling like the world owe you everything. So you should get used to it. Taught them everything but a student loan. 8 bedrooms for my studio. I just bought a car on my mobile phone. Gave your first one for the ratio, so you could get used to it. So you could get used to it.